In the upper left-hand side, of course, for Canada, Oceanus Gaming, the winner of the qualifying match between these two just 2 weeks ago. If the Horde has an Elon Musk, then it's him. It's KiWiKaKi. And of course, on the right-hand side, same clan, same country, different race, different strength. Best micro NA, iNSUPERABLE. Alright then. I'm alone, apparently. We have a DK opening. That doesn't surprise me too much. We see a couple of Crypt Lords these days, especially in the European region, but iNSUP is all about micro, is all about DK Fiends. He doesn't really like the Crypt Lord play, never did, never played it in, or rarely played it in mirror matches, even if it was all the rage. So, yeah.
Yeah, recently we've seen a lot of adjustments being made to this sort of matchup by the Undeads. The Dark Rangers second against Farseer Headhunters, the Philbot Fiends, as I like to call it, which is just a quick Fiend build. That's what we're seeing from iNSUP this game. So you have 2 Fiends by the time that Death Knight pops out, or here's the second Fiend at least. Yeah, a couple adjustments being made recently, which is probably why we're seeing those kind of wacky vetoes. But yeah, and this is why iNSUP a little bit favored here, because he's starting to figure it out. We're probably going to see Dark Rangers second. We're probably going to see a lot of pressure on the Headhunters. But for now, we're seeing the classic KiWiKaKi creep route with the early level 2.
And I joined the game a little bit late, Carson. Was that Fast Fiends by iNSUP?
It was Fast Fiends. Yeah, we're probably going to see that be a standard, be a staple for iNSUP against KiWiKaKi. Having those early Fiends, having that early presence on the map to bully off the Headhunters if they are pressuring you as the Undead is a really strong opener to do. So look to see iNSUP do that probably every game.
So we talk a lot about iNSUP and his micro, and of course we saw him in like Xelos Red and also against Axlord playing a lot of ghouls and playing a lot of surrounds. So how much of a weapon do you take away from him when there's no ghouls but fiends?
Right, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, going for surrounds, which we've seen him do with Fiends in the past, is almost more of a curse than a blessing, because you miss out on all that sweet, sweet damage. So, you know, maybe playing Crypt Lord would almost be a strength of iNSUP if you go for a lot of beetles, a lot of skeletons, a lot of ghouls, and you go for those surrounds. But of course, it's not going to work against the Farseer Headhunters. So, you know, stylistically, maybe not the right matchup for iNSUP overall against Kiwi. But, you know, I'm sure he's got good micro, not just with surrounds, I'm sure, so...
Man, classic standoff in the middle of the map, in the middle of Echo Isles, fighting for the marketplace, fighting for the Ogre Magi. Only one big consumable up on this map, and both are fighting for the levels, of course. iNSUP, no level 2 yet, no aura. That's a little dangerous. He's not creeping on the right-hand side, but one Wolf Snipe is the level 2, but surprise Chain Lightning shocks iNSUP and gets the Ogre Magi for KiWiKaKi.
Yeah, but iNSUP does get the Potion of Greater Healing, and that's going to be extremely good for iNSUP in the future, but it also would have been, more importantly, great on that Farseer in case there's a Coil Nova in the future. One header going to be picked off, and this is kind of going to be KiWiKaKi's reality for these probably 2 or 3 games, because iNSUP is going to be aggressive. He's even aggressive with the ghouls normally with those surrounds, but especially against the Farseer Headhunters, he's just going to press forward all day and go for these Headhunters, because you cannot give the Orc player space in this situation.
Especially here, there's no shop up yet. 3 Fiends continue to pressure this. Tech is like 3/4 done. They can't produce another Fiend, but the 4th one is coming, and he's diving deep for these 2 Headhunters. And there's so many coils, Carson.
Yeah, and there's a Greater Heal, too, which he uses beautifully already to dive on those burrows. One Fiend taking a lot of damage, but what is that? 4 Headhunters already? This is insane by iNSUP so far. And 4 Fiends killing 4 Headhunters. Kiwi doesn't even have the forces to really fight because of all those coils you're mentioning. This is a 5th Headhunter. I might be miscounting, but I'm certainly seeing a lot more Fiends than Headhunters.
I have no words. This is a catastrophe for Kiwi. Did he ever start as bad into a tournament here at DreamHack than today? That is level 3. He got an entire level from the skirmish, from Marketplace to Kiwi base. And, like, oh, and such an important level.
Oh, and the level 2 coil is insane. The Tauren Chieftain comes out, but not before all of his friends have fallen. The Farseer is trying to put in work, but the Farseer's out of mana before the Death Knight. Can you believe that? Not another pair of wolves, but there's certainly another coil, almost 2. And Kiwi, what's he going to creep now? I don't even know. One low HP Headhunter, another one almost within coil range, and I doubt this is the end of the pressure from INSUP, who's actually going for a Lich, I guess, because who needs a Dark Ranger when you've already killed all the Headhunters?
Exactly. We've seen Dark Ranger plenty of times by INSUP, but not here. That's a good point, actually, creeping, because not only do you creep on the Orcs units, but you also, with that fight all the time, you prevent the Farseer from reaching level 3, from getting these strong level 2 wolves that usually dominate this matchup until there's destroyers. But oh boy, is Kiwi in trouble. TC needs some heavy lifting. One Fiend about to drop, maybe Speed Scroll invested. Okay, get decapitated here. Finally something is going Kiwi's way.
Yeah, a 1-for-1 trade certainly in Kiwi's favor there, at least in that micro exchange. But a couple more Fiends are getting low. There's only one coil. I'm amazed there's still even that one coil, though, for INSUP. He may be going to get one more Headhunter. This might be a Town Portal in the long run because, of course, there's going to be a lot of stomps. But the Lich comes in perfectly timed. There's a Nova. There's another Headhunter. The Wolves are resummoned. And there's actually no coil, Neo, so perhaps another Fiend could fall. And that's certainly what Kiwi needs to do. There's a second Fiend for Kiwi.
And I wonder if INSUP is overcommitting here a little bit. Fiends are starting to drop. Chain Lightning pretty strong. Wolf keeps on chasing. The Fiend only down to 3 HP. Will probably fall. We continue this race. Yep, there we go. So all of a sudden, this is pretty good experience. TC at 1.5. Lich got 1 Headhunter, I think.
He just Nova'd and got 2 more, though, Neil. With that next Nova, killed 2 clumped Headhunters. So that's, I think, 3 since the Lich showed up. A 4th with that Aura chasing. So 3 Fiends for 10 Headhunters so far, which isn't that bad for Kiwi because, of course, Fiends cost a lot more than Headhunters. But certainly, 10 for 3 is something INSUP's going to take to the bank all day.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't see that double kill. That, of course, it's a whole different ball game. INSUP maybe a little mistake, not going for the next Ziggurat in time. So he is at tier 3 now, hung around at the tavern. Would have loved a Dark Ranger maybe, but didn't have the supply. So he has to deal with what he has, or he has to work with what he has at the moment. Farseer trying to buy some time for the TC, but still, tough task.
Yeah, and Kiwi couldn't invest into that tier 3 tech he desires because he's just had to replace all these Headhunters, and he needs to replace them because, of course, he has to creep the Tauren Chieftain up to level 3. So I think this early game has really pivoted on the fact that you stated it early, the marketplace, getting that greater heal, being able to use that greater heal as an investment to put more pressure on Kiwi did INSUP. So I think that marketplace fight, that's really what this early game has come down to. And now INSUP, I doubt he's going to let this one slip. He's going to get the Orb, he's going to get the Tri-Hero, the Dark Ranger like you mentioned, and then probably just go across the map and kill him.
Yeah, I would think so too. Headhunter and Shaman is the name of the game for Kiwi, but what do Shaman really do against this build? Like, there's Destroyers coming. What do you do with Purge and Lightning Shield against Fiend's Destroyers?
Yeah, they just kind of die whenever they get in range of that Orb and those Fiend shots. Of course, you can get, statues out of position, Fiends out of position. You can go for some sort of Lightning Shield if you focus on the Destroyer. But yeah, they're not the ideal unit unless you can get an overwhelming amount of Bloodlust on tier 3. But Kiwi just now teching to tier 3, so it's going to be quite a while before he's online.
Silver lining, maybe 8 HP away from level 3, and that is when the Storm really starts to hurt. And he got a lot of items from this Goblin Merchant. Invul Potion and Heal Scroll, of course. Is it time for the Dark Ranger now? Yep, the emo lady for the emo boy. Let's go. Is that the final push already?
It's gonna certainly be a strong timing. The Coil Nova on the Farseer already, that's something Kiwi has to be weary of. But of course, you can keep that Farseer back. He has that Invuln as well, of course, in the Tauren Chieftain that he got from the shop earlier. So the Illusion. Oh, if this Illusion forces a Coil Nova, that would be great. But it doesn't look like INSUP is biting just yet.
Not yet, but cool position by Kiwi. Knows, oh man, I need more time. I desperately need more time. So blocking that entrance here, first by waking up the creeps, then by illusions, and that's what you can do with the Shaman, of course. TC, Stomp, Lightning Shield, doing quite a good amount of damage. Oh, there is actually a Nova on that illusion, but hits hard against the surrounding headhunters here. Fiends, Burrowed, how much coil is there? A lot, actually. Lightning Shield still not dispelled. That is maybe a little bit of a mistake here, but man, the rest of the army for Kiwi looks pathetic.
Oh, a beautiful coil on that Fiend after the dust. That was the last stomp on the Tauren Chieftain. One Fiend about to fall. Lightning Shield, not yet dealt with. Actually, pretty swiftly dealt with, in fact, from the side of Insup with that Destroyer in the air that he's being very careful with. The Headhunters in the back are putting in some damage, but at the end of the day, 3 Headhunters against the healing of the statue, against the healing of the Death Knight. I don't think Kiwi could do it, and he's going to call GG. What a dominant Game 1 performance from Insup. That was very well done. Wow.
Yeah, we usually criticize Insup's aggressiveness when he plays against his opponent. That's usually his downfall. Didn't see any red flags there. Super aggressive, good micro, killing tons of Headhunters, and the aggression paid off, and well played from Insup.
Wow, that was the right counter. That was pretty much the perfect counter.
Just keep attacking. It's like it's Sonic but with undead, and it's Sonic but in Canada instead.
Yeah, kind of true indeed. It felt like Q was just running into this. Is that also like creeping the marketplace at that state of the game when there's so many fiends out? Is that the right call, Carson?
It feels, as the Orc player, if you put yourself in Kiwi's shoes, like you kind of have to contest it. You don't want to let him get, say, a Scroll of the Beast for that big push when there's not many Shamans left. You don't want to let him get the big mana, of course. So you feel like you have to get something done early on, but, maybe... And, you kind of can't stop it, or you can't stop it with just your Farseer and then creep at the Headhunters because you need the Wolves. So it's kind of rough to give it up to the Undead player to let them get level 3 so early. So it feels like you have to, but maybe at the end of the day, it's not the right play for Kiwi. It's hard to say. I'm sure he'll go back and watch that replay and try to figure it out. But I think Insup just more has the solutions to all these problems that he's had for such a long time against KiWiKaKi that, Kiwi's got to change something up maybe.
Yeah, Kiwi has a great mind for the game and for RTS in general. Of course, we give him 3 minutes to think about that game and reevaluate these strategic choices, and then we're back with map number 2.
boulder and push.
Little bit of a hot mic here coming into a hot series. Carson, what were you saying? Ricky is the boulder?
Oh, you know. We were playing 2v2 last night, and he likes to play with just one base human for some reason, like off race with just one base. And I told him he should expand, but he's like, no, I want to make it hard on you. So I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll push you up the mountain. I'll go for two base myself and get the economic edge. And that's what we did last night. We ended up going 10-0 on BNet 2v2s. What can you say?
And
yes.
a 2-2, huh? Best.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the
2v2.
best.
Yes, 2v2. Yep, I'm the boulder he pushes up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, do you have anything to say about game one? Anything that
I think Kiwi needs to be more careful about the headhunters he loses, because I think he got in a position where you needed that tier 3 tech, but like Carson mentioned during the broadcast, you need the units to creep that TC as well. So kind of trading off that tier 3 for more units to creep. And then we saw that final fight outside of the Merc camp outside Kiwi's base, where he didn't have the berserkers that he probably should have had in that fight, and headhunters against Orb just get schmelted, if you will. So better micro for Kiwi, and going up against INSUP, you know he's going to play super aggressive.
Yeah, and if you can't get that massive headhunters on tier 2, you can't tech to tier 3 yet, because you still need them to creep, and then you can't get your tier 3 tech like you correctly mentioned. Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's why the aggressiveness is so good from the side of INSUP.
All right, let's see if it works on Northern Isles as well. INSUP Kiwi, map number 2, INSUP pushing for the winner bracket final. Spam your Roman numerals for iNSUPERABLE. Here we go, bottom left-hand side. That was a pretty damn strong performance. I really wonder what Kiwi has left in store. He, of course, plays a lot of Farseer Headhunter, we know that, but there were always some variation as well. Sometimes it was with Shamans, sometimes with Walkers, sometimes even Raiders, sometimes Tier 3, sometimes Bloodlust, sometimes Torrent. So it's not like the one Farseer Headhunter strategy.
Yeah, we've most typically actually, I feel like, seen Raiders second from Kiwi. It's not a style that I play too much myself, but I do feel like Raiders are very strong. Even Spiral, I think, in the past has played a lot of Raiders with Farseer Headhunters against Undead. That series against Happy comes to mind. So this maybe is the adjustment that Kiwi can make, but I think the first adjustment he has to make is just a better defense of the aggression from INSUP. Who's probably going to be able to get a big consumable again if he goes for the Tuskar, because he's going for the Fast Fiend build yet again.
Yeah, I want to touch on that consumable. That was the perfect item in the perfect situation for this push by INSUP. How does this game go if he doesn't have the greater healing? If he's stuck in Kiwi's base, or if he's going for Kiwi's base, of course he's going to get 1, 2, Headhunters 3 maybe, but he would never be able to do that dive and hang around for, what was that, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, and if he gets something like an invuln, maybe he can do that, but he's still got to TP out of there eventually, right? And if he has Wand of Mana Stealing, Scroll the Beast, it would be useful in the future, but not in that specific situation. I'm wondering if INSUP maybe would have just not dived the base if he hadn't had that. But then I don't think he gets quite the momentum, and this is all about momentum when you're playing a lot of Fiends against a lot of Headhunters. You're constantly pressuring. It's all about the momentum.
And Kiwi grabbing quite some momentum here with the first experience of the game. Mantle of Intelligence as well. A little bit of extra damage makes last hitting a little easier. Almost lasted with the Crypt Fiend here. DK is out now. Let the brawl begin.
Let the brawl begin, and let the train begin as well for the Headhunters. But of course, a fast tech late Rax for Kiwi, so he's not going to have quite the forces. That's why we see him going straight across the map and stealing away a camp. But will he be able to steal away this next camp? If Kiwi gets this entire camp, of course, it is level 2 for the Farseer, and INSUP not able to really get his consumable that I thought he might be able to get online because of this nice opener from Kiwi.
Yeah, really disrupting the early game, and this already looks a lot different compared to game 1, but this is pretty much a power spike for INSUP with the 3 Fiends out, trying to snipe some wolves. Kiwi has not too much to gain here, really. He just has to weaken his opponent and slow down the opponent.
Yeah, one thing Kiwi's doing very well here is he's forcing coils from INSUP. So when INSUP does get level 2 or level 3, he'll probably only try to creep to level 2, though. He won't be able to go as aggressive on the headhunters, and he won't be able to use those coils as aggressively, of course, as well, because he's got to save the fiends. So there's going to be one more coil probably forced by Kiwi, and then look to see him maybe go back and start creeping with his headhunters. But during that time, I mean, what's INSUP going to do? He's going to have to be much more careful with his fiends, and not even close to Aura yet either.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a problem in game 1 already. Kiwi's early harass with the Farseer is working out really well. On Northern Isles, you can catch up quite a bit, but when is the Farseer really retreating? All the headhunters are still in the base, I think. They're, okay, moving back now as the TC is about to pop out. The Farseer still has mana, can resummon the wolves, can continue to harass and disrupt this Tusker camp.
Yeah, this has been beautifully done so far by KiWiKaKi, and of course the Torn Chieftain is going to come out and start creeping behind this harass. And, you know, a cool thing is, if you can force more coils, then INSUP cannot use those coils to go for last hits, so the Farseer can get a little greedy there and maybe go in for a last hit on some of the creeps. But for now, so much time is being bought, and what is the tech going to be? We were discussing it. Is it going to be Raiders, or is it going to be Shamans?
Pretty incredible. 5 minutes in and we got 20 experience. That is one lousy wolf. I love the wolfies, but yeah, in this case it is a lousy wolf. TC creeping, and he's gonna surpass the first tier of INSUP in no time.
Yep, as soon as, yep, there's a stomp. He's gonna have more experience in about 2 seconds. As INSUP finally picks up his first creep of the game, even gets a second wolf, perhaps. Every little bit counts, but he's going to need more than a little bit to get his level 3 Death Knight, and more importantly, he hasn't killed a single headhunter yet, and if you leave the TC to just creep on his own, it will favor the Orc player in the long run.
Oh yeah, that was a... Oh no!
Oh!
Stole that, Kiwi, you madman! Big mana potion, of course, once again incredible, but first of all, there was a leave me alone coil. Kiwi refuses to leave, and then this middle finger right into INSUP's face with the last hit on the big ogre, and that is still 4 experience missing for level 2. Invests another coil, knowing that he has the potion of greater mana, of course, in case of emergency, he can use that, but that was a lot of mana for only level 2.
Yeah, that's all the mana. That mana potions, of course, is going to be very, very handy for now contesting probably the marketplace of the shop. Would be surprised to see Kiwi not after this green camp go towards the middle, and he is going tier 3, by the way, and now has a Spirit Lodge as well, so a much better, you know, much better early game for Kiwi, and an insanely good early game for Kiwi. The Farseer harass has been as good as it can get, honestly. I mean, other than maybe killing a Fiend, which you're never going to do with a solo Farseer, like, what more can you do with this Farseer early game?
Not much, really. I mean, there was not really a camp attack, so you can't steal too much. This bought so much time, it's incredible. And it's once again the Lich, and not a Dark Ranger.
Yeah, I think INSUP could have maybe still found a timing to get a Dark Ranger on tier 2 and go across. He knows where Kiwi is. He knows Kiwi's going to be creeping this expansion. He also gets a Pendant of Energy for that Torn Chieftain, by the way. That's pretty incredible. See what INSUP's able to get, though. A Ankh, not ideal. Mana Stone would have been great. Health Stone. Heal Ward's also good against the AoE, but an Ankh might not even see it get much use, honestly.
Once again, an aggressive coil with 2 fiends this herd. Wonder if that's the right call. Kiwi feels confident now. Speed scroll engagement. We don't see that too much recently. Purge, focus fire, fiend dead, level 2. TP forced as well.
This is absolute domination from Kiwi. Now he's going to run over and take the Goblin Shop, can get the invuln and the heal scroll. He got the invuln last game on time, but he already lost too many headhunters. This is just picture perfect for KiWiKaKi, who's now going to get a Belt of Giant Strength. Always happy to keep that Torn Chieftain a little bit safer. But, you know, Kiwi's in a spot to even maybe expand on tier 3 with a tiny, like an INSUP, still trying to get level 3 Death Knight.
Unbelievable, yeah. And isn't that wonderful how, on paper, if you just write it down, it's fast fiends for the second time versus Farseer headhunters for the second time, but we end up with 2 completely different games.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the Farseer harass, if it didn't go that well, I still feel like KiWiKaKi would be in a good position. I think this is a great adjustment he's made, saying, I just won't build headhunters early. I'll just tech fast if you're going to be aggressive on me, and then I'll just turtle in my base, won't try to creep anything too greedy, and You know, if you come aggressive across the map, then you're not creeping, and you know what? I'll have to tech advantage regardless. So I like these adjustments from Kiwi, but he's still going to have to hold probably a strong tier 3 force from INSUP.
Yeah, the big power spike is yet to come. Orb, third hero, destroyers. Does he have Burrow? No, still waiting for Burrow as well, so he couldn't save that one fiend. On the other side, we got a lot of upgrades as well. Wow, Kiwi. Speed scroll in the middle of the map. Not really chasing. What's he looking for? I mean, he knew that the Tuskers were gone already. It's a little bit of a weird move.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I was trying to check if he was salving anything. Maybe he misclicked it, but he could have just been looking for a clean creep jack on the lab, but not going to find INSUP there, but at least he will find him here. Is INSUP ready to fight? His Lich has the orb, a little bit out of position, but INSUP could find himself at a choke point. Doesn't want to eat these stomps, so he might be eating one, though.
Still no Burrow, and he has the TP used already. Once again, the Storm at the Lightning Shield. Wonderful connection. Scroll the Beast as well, and there is no Destroyer upgrade yet. INSUP is getting stomped into the ground in this fight again. Northern Isles is a complete disaster for the Undead. TC is being nuked a little bit, but now we got a level 3 Farseer as well. TC Invul, TC Stomp, Headhunter Focus, next Fiend dead. INSUP, there's barely anything left for him.
He's going to go for the TC nuke, but there's a heal scroll there. He's got a coil. He's got a Nova. This is his play. He's got to kill the TC, but the town portal's passed as well, Neo. And INSUP uses a coil on one of his last remaining fiends. Dust is there, because of course it is for Kiwi. Last stomp comes in. Is there a coil? Surprise, INSUP didn't go for the nuke on the TC. Very much respecting his opponent, but respect is only going to get you so far, and right now it's looking like it's going to get him to 1-1 tied series. Wow,
12 supply lead for the Orc. This is not where you want to be as an Undead on one base. More Shaman, more Headhunter. INSUP, what's still in there for him? High-level Undead heroes can turn this around. Will Kiwi give him the time to rebuild and grind, especially the Lich levels?
Yeah, level 3 Lich would be a great power spike, of course, and still waiting for that third hero for INSUP, and the Destroyer will help him creep really quickly. Actually gets a second Talisman of Evasion. Not really what you're looking for, but Kiwi probably looking for another fight soon now that he has mana. Once he's out of mana on that Torn Chieftain, wants to get away, but now he's got a mana pot. He had a Clarity running, and he's going to go for the red camp, but he could get caught out of position, perhaps.
Backstep opportunity, maybe? Kiwi sees the movement. We look into the middle. It's the Dark Ranger once again, but the DK is so hurt. The statue purged once again, and these purges are so wonderful throughout the entire game. Dark Ranger can't prevent everything. Kiwi looks like there's a little bit of bloodlust in him even without the Shaman Master. Oh, is there? Oh, there is actually.
Yeah, the TC's so fast, man. Level 2 Aura with Bloodlust? Are you kidding me? Like, he caught up to the Death Knight and the Lich and just stomped in their face, and now we're probably going to see another stomp with that Mana Pot on the Torn Chieftain. Nice Devour to get rid of the Bloodlust by INSUP. But Micro is Destroyers very well thus far, but Micro, you know, if you don't have the units, what can Micro do for you? But somehow, a slight supply lead for INSUP now.
How did that happen? One reason is, of course, the third attack upgrade, which is incredibly expensive for orcs.
Jesus.
Lightning Orb as well. No Tiny Great Hall. Would that be a moment for Kiwi, maybe? To expand? Or would that have been a moment prior to this?
Yeah, I think, that orb is great, sure, but it's not a Blade Master that Farseer, and you got plenty of purges on your Shaman, so maybe a better investment, yeah, absolutely would have been getting that Tiny Great Hall and then creep in the red camp, and Kiwi would have still been in a good position to fight, but maybe being a little bit too safe, maybe having a little bit too much fun. Orb of Lightning, yeah, big investment for not much gain, I feel like. And Claws plus 12, and maybe the Farseer will be a Blade Master this game.
Okay, on the other side we get a Claw plus 9 on the Lich, not too shabby either. Farseer close to level 4, then you have to deal with the level 2 Lightning Shield, which is not to be underestimated. INSUP I feel like he needs another great item here. Aura, of course, preferred, except this one.
That's been happening so much, I feel like, the past couple days. Is it just me? I keep seeing that item.
We keep on jinxing it for the Undead players especially.
Unlucky. A lot of gold, though, for it. A lot of gold, and there could be something like True Shot in the marketplace, or maybe a couple more claws for that Lich. So iNSUP probably won't be too sad to see that go, as well as the double Talisman of Evasion could probably sell it. But for now, remember, no Town Portal for iNSUP. He's got a hold here.
Kiwi finds him again. The Destroyer unfortunately getting wept down from the Arachnithid. DK is already low, being purged, and the crit's coming out from the Wolves. Needs an invul really, really soon. It's up. Okay, has an Ankh. Of course, I wasn't panicking at all, and I did totally not forget about that Ankh. I just thought he wanted to save it for later, maybe.
Now he's really in danger, though. Gonna have to use that invuln. Of course, doesn't have an invuln on his second or third hero, whereas Kiwi has the Town Portal on the leading Tauren Chieftain. Speed Scroll, Bloodlust, level 2 Aura. He can kite all day, but iNSUP cannot run away. That's a big stomp, my lord.
I was really impressed by the splits in game 1 on Echo Owls by iNSUP, but here the Storms are connecting all over the place. Lightning Shield follow-up again, triple kill, quad kill. Destroyers with mana are great, but they're being focus fired, and yes, this is definitely game as Kiwi takes map number 2.
Just a beautiful harass. Just a, what could you say? A slight adjustment and not going for headhunters early, not being over aggressive was Kiwi. And he just said, whatever, you can delay your tech, you can get lots of fiends, but I'm going to have the best harass of my entire life. And if Kiwi can do that again in game 3, what are you supposed to do as iNSUP? You're getting everything stolen. That's tricky.
Tricky. What do you say, Ricky?
Yeah, that was a great point. Kiwi just realizing, wait, can I get the same amount of harassment done without risking any headhunters whatsoever? And then, like, that was night and day. The tier 3 tech was on point. He just crept with the TC as soon as the 5 headhunters came out, kept them in the base. What a sweet adjustment. We're seeing actually really good adjustments in all of these NA games right now. All these players are fully prepared. Once they hit something that, you know, they hit a small snag, they completely adjust. And maybe Kiwi wasn't sure if iNSUP was going to go Philbot Fiends with the Graveyard Crypt Opener, but now he's a little bit adjusting. And I was wondering, how is he going to deal with this? Is the Farseer Headhunter gig up? And right now I'm thinking, well, that was a completely one-sided game too.
Yeah, you can't be slowed down so much. No way. Undead needs level 2 way quicker. And iNSUP needs to find a way to get that somehow. On the next map, Tidehunters, that we will bring to your home screens in just 3 minutes. Game 3 decider in the group of death. Ricky, what are you saying? Do you want to add something of value to the broadcast?
Yeah, I think, wow, what a series we got, INSUP with the sick game one.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, PogChamp, monk of W's, because I think we got a game 3 here, and it could go either or, and this is a really good map where, you could get a little bit of variety here, a little bit of, got the fever. You got the fever, Giannis.
I'm totally fine, man. Here we go. Our two competitors once again couldn't be any more different, I guess. And that is super exciting, man. Who's gonna get up versus Hitman tomorrow? Is of course gonna be a way different style than KiWiKaKi does, so it should be an exciting org mirror, and it would be a new challenge for INSUP as well. We decide this series and the winner bracket semifinals of Group A on one of our very, very new and great maps, Tidehunter. So we saw two very different openings here, Carson. Is it all about the Farseer harass? Is that what decides the game? Because that's what this series looks like for now.
Certainly what it looked like on Northern Isles, of course, but on a map like Tidehunters, is there that room, that space to go for the aggressive Farseer, and is there enough safe camps for the Death Knight of INSUPERABLE to really creep? And even if he loses a couple last hits, takes a little bit of damage from the wolves, he can still kind of creep in the Farseer's face, because that's not what happened last game. He had to go for the Tuskars, and that kind of was a disaster. But on Tidehunters, there's a couple little small green camps, even the orange camp outside INSUP's base is decently easy to creep if you're being harassed. So we'll see. Different map, different strat even from INSUP. He's going for Ted Fiends this game, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no Fast Fiends opener. It's good old Ted Fiends with DK early, so wants to get away from the DK, from the Farseer a little bit. Doesn't have to wait for the Fiends. And of course DK is out a lot earlier, needs to wait for the Fiends. And how much can the Farseer do against this? This is the fastest tech in competitive WarCraft right there.
1 minute, 47 seconds, something like that. I forget what the numbers are. But of course, with the Ted Fiends from INSUP, another thing that's nice about this build is you get that third ghoul quicker. You invest less into Fiends. And of course, you don't invest in that second Ziggurat. So your tech a hell of a lot earlier with the Ted Fiends. So INSUP can keep up with the tech of Kiwi that he's now scouting. Will be very, very fast. But Kiwi, is he going to creep? He crept one camp, of course, last game. But now, going across the map.
Might be a little bit of a wrong read by Kiwi. He's expecting INSUP to go for the little green when you can kinda easily creep the Berserker and the Sea Giant camp. So Kiwi is definitely too late for this.
Oh, he's kind of doing something similar, I suppose, to what he did on Northern. I was going to snag away the easiest level 2 creep camp for that Death Knight. And he's probably assuming it's going to be Fast Fiends again for INSUP, so I don't mind this play from Kiwi. This is a decently sized camp, but INSUP, he's of course going to get very close to level 2 and can go to the turtle camp in the middle by that lab to get his own level 2 if he wants.
Yeah, ruining an opponent's level 2 creep route is of course a good solid choice, but here on Tidehunters there's so many easy camps. You can go for the green, as you said, the sea turtle, especially with skeletons, it's like ridiculously easy. You can go to the Murlocs, who are a little further out, but then you have a good follow-up at the marketplace if you want to snipe the Ogre Magi, which was a super important play already on map 1, so I don't mind this too much, and INSUP is very, very close to level 2. Kiwi got good experience as well, and of course the tech advantage.
You have a couple of wolves, nice coil there. A couple of wolves, I was going to say, will give the aura to INSUP without having to creep anything. Oh, Kiwi's just going to give up both wolves, and that's the aura already. A big mistake from Kiwi.
Yeah, that is a huge advantage for INSUP now. Has faster movement speed, got some regeneration. And usually this shouldn't happen. Need to resummon the wolves before they get killed. He got a lot, or he had a lot of mana, so this was clearly just his fault there. Little block by INSUP, little styling in front of the Farseer. In the meantime, still waiting for the tier 2, but headhunters are coming.
Yeah, one headhunter was kind of trailing behind the the Skeletons and the Fiend, but INSUP didn't notice. He's just going to chase the Farseer, who will be able to get back to his Voodoo Lounge eventually. Was not forgotten by Kiwi, so he'll be able to heal up. But for now, Tauren Chieftain on time. There's a few Headhunters. I'm wondering what the creep route will be for KiWiKaKi, if he goes for something more aggressive, or if he's just going to do the orange into the green, get that level 2 as easy as you can, and we'll see what INSUP's second hero is. Will it be that Dark Ranger that we've been talking about?
Yeah, we haven't seen it before, but that was all the rage in their Decider match, I think also in the ESL Cup, and in general. Undeads have been picking this up. We've seen it all across the world, basically.
Yeah, it's very good for this aggressive style, and with 2 Fiends, probably soon to be 3, yep, that 3rd Fiend about to pop for INSUP. He could be aggressive. He doesn't have to be too afraid. There's only 4 Headhunters, soon to be 5 on the side of KiWiKaKi. Certainly not a terrifying force for the Orc. So let's see if INSUP's going to be a little bit more aggressive than at least he was on Northern Isles, because the Farseer Harass hasn't been as effective as it was there, certainly.
It's also not as disastrous, yeah, there she is, as it was on Echo Isle. So we're kind of in the middle. Not a total disaster for Kiwi, not a total disaster for INSUP. Nobody is really happy with this game. As well, because there's no level 3, there's no level 2, and that's how games usually look like. Dark Ranger it is. Explain the strategy to us, Carsten.
Well, of course, with that black arrow, you can creep very heavily. You get lots of skeletons, you have lots of momentum going forward, but more importantly, you can pressure those Headhunters, and you can turn them into skeletons, and skeletons themselves are good against the Headhunters as well, and you have it out right away. So again, the momentum, the aggressive playstyle, not just of INSUP, but of Undeads against the Farseer Headhunters. The Dark Ranger just flows very well, because of course Nova would be great, but Nova wouldn't even be on the field yet. The Lich would just be coming out of the altar, and then it'd have to walk across the map, so the momentum definitely in the Undead's hands when you go for this Dark Ranger.
Exactly. TC is creeping up, gets 2 rings of protection here. Very tanky, is of course good in the late game, but maybe you want some other stats as well, ideally. Fight for the turtle. We fight for pretty much every single creep spot here in the middle.
Yeah. Look at all the skellies though. 5 skeletons on the field, and there's only more to come, especially if there's another small creep camp. The one that KiWiKaKi's currently taking would be the next ideal one for INSUP to go towards, but maybe just going to take one of these contestable camps in the middle with the Farseer in his face still, but the Farseer is starting to get a little bit low.
Yeah, he's not really a factor anymore, is he? Can't come in with a surprise chain lightning. All he does is summon wolves and get some right clicks out, so the Makuro Snapper goes to INSUP, and he's getting close to level 3. Also, Lightning Shield on his side now can have good impact, can also be used for creeping, not too bad. We do have a Dark Ranger now. Double slippers and gloves plus silence. Here's the Lightning Shield on the skeletons. Does a little bit. Gets him 1 skeleton. That might just start the snowball, but Kiwi starts the stomping.
Not level 2 Stomp. He's so close, Kiwi, to getting that level 3 Tauren Chieftain, but of course no level 3 Coil either. Level 2 Coil. 1 Fiend goes down. There's the level 2 Stomp. A good start to the fight for Kiwi, but a couple of Headhunters starting to get low. Of course, the Farseer's got to be careful. There's a Coil. The Farseer could just die, but a Coil on the Fiend to save that. And Kiwi's going to run away for now. Can he get 1 more Fiend? Doesn't look like it. He's just going to hightail it out of here.
Dark Ranger is putting in work. Lots of skeletons still. DK gotta be careful. There was a storm ready. Maybe missed opportunity here to get him surrounded, or at least more pressure onto him to force him into the TP. But dust settles apparently as the skeletons are still chasing. They only want the Farseer, and that should be it. Now that the brawling in the middle is over, Carsten, who's this better for?
Hard to say, but the tier 3 is about to hit for INSUP, who can get that level 3 Dark Ranger, which is very, very strong. Of course, if he had remembered his statue was misrallied, he could have pressured this into maybe getting the marketplace or something, one of these contestable camps in the middle. So maybe at the end of the day, it does favor Kiwi because he's just got better map presence and positioning right now. But I would say INSUP could have maybe pressed the issue a bit better here after that fight.
Alrighty, I gotta say, his splits with the Fiends are getting better again after being really good in Game 1 and really bad in Game 2. It wasn't perfect by any means, but this looked a lot better than on Northern. I think he kind of forgot for the first stomp, but for the second one, he was certainly ready. Dark Ranger super close to 3, as you mentioned. DK is already level 3, and we're waiting for the tier 3. Lich is coming, Destroyers are coming. Pretty much the same strategies here with slight variations, of course. Scroll of Healing, Invo Potion on the Farseer, and made good use of that. Big Invo Potion for the TC. That is very helpful indeed.
Yeah, Kiwi with a couple of low headhunters. We'll see if that comes into play. Of course, the Dark Ranger now level 3 with some scary items now with, I imagine, that level 2 Black Arrow. So that's going to be a lot of extra damage on that Dark Ranger, and with the Lich now joining in with the Orb, once Insup can afford it, I would say Kiwi rightfully is running away, and he should try to creep something safe and secure next to his base while he waits for his tier 3 to kick in.
That's 2 big unique camps going to Insup. That's the shop, and that's the one red spot. Book of the Dead. There's no AoE Dispel, so this can be nice. There is, of course, Dispel, but you want to get rid of Silence. You want to get rid of maybe Frost Armor later. Okay, that's very unlikely, I guess, but maybe of Skeletons, so can't Dispel everything.
And you're going to want Bloodlust as well in the future. You're going to want, you know, Lightning Shield we saw come into effect on that Torrent Chieftain. So there's a lot of things for these few Shamans to deal with. And of course, they're very squishy, so they could fall. But for now, Insup power creeping. Ooh, double Rigor Regen. Oh, look at the health. I love it. I love it. Look at the health of the DK. Oh my god, I love double Rigor Regen.
Man, I want the Ring of Regen myself. 4 HP from these items, plus the Unholy Aura, plus natural regen. This is pretty nuts, and also no reinforced defenses for KiWiKaKi. This is really scary. He invested. Oh, that Stomp was not good at all, but the Lightning Shield follow-up is Book of the Dead immediately into the back. Shadowhunter joins the fray. What's his first spell? I'm not 100% sure. Could be Hex, could be Heal Wave it is, and the AoE is all over the place.
Oh, the Stomps could be big, but he's 3 mana off one currently, or else the Stomp would be massive. But the split, just when he has enough mana, still hits decently, though. 2 Destroyers up in the air, not yet focused down. Of course, no Raiders, and no Orb to tie down those Destroyers. Level 4 in the Torrent Chief, and that Aura will help out, but it seems as though a lot of headhunters are falling. One more Stomp from that mana pop, but is it enough to get these couple of Fiend kills?
Ooh, he saves his Shadowhunter there for a little bit. Needs a potion next. Fiends are about to drop. If there would be a powerful Chain Lightning, maybe he could get 2-3 consecutive kills. Lightning Shield again. Here's a reveal. That was big. Dark Ranger also kind of hurt. Everything else down to 50%. I think Insup has to retreat here. Otherwise, supply is dropping quickly.
Yeah, if Insup gets out of here without losing too much as he loses 2 Fiends, but he's still got 3 left, I think Insup definitely a big favorite in this fight, 31 against 51, and saves a couple of low units that he has, and you know what, gets out as soon as he runs out of coils on his Death Knight. No, he sells both Rings of Regen! Why'd you do it to me, Insup? But a Fiend about to fall. He's got the gold for maybe an Invul, maybe a Heal Scroll, and Kiwi just doesn't really have the forces right now, Neil.
Ooh, Lich can eat the Skeletons. Always dangerous! But here's the surround. TC has 10.5 armor. Maybe not the best target, especially if it carries a potion of invulnerability, but that was NA's micro number 1. That was the swift snaps around. But how do you heal this up now? He needs more healing. He needs a higher level Shadowhunter. He needs a TC with full mana, but he doesn't give him the chance. There's a Clarity, but you will immediately be attacked once you drink that. No mana potion here. Kiwi 250 gold, but he also needs to rebuild the entire army. Insup pushing forward to the winner bracket final.
Yeah, worth noting, still no reinforced defenses, so Kiwi has to defend his base. He's got to defend himself right now, but the peons are falling the Destroyer up in the air, 3 of them, and there's just not enough damage for the Orc. The Stomps would have to be massive, but the nuke is bigger. The Shadowhunter is going to fall, and we're probably going to see it soon. Level 4 Dark Ranger. That Stomp is not enough follow-up damage behind it, and seems as though Insup's just pushing forward.
Yeah, the Pop Punk kid doesn't like the Rastaman. Kicks off the Shadowhunter immediately. Farseer about to pop there as well. More and more Lightning Shield, but I don't think that's the play. I don't think that's enough. Farseer, he's just hunting that Farseer. Here's the Nova, and there is probably the coil doesn't even need it. KiWiKaKi in the ropes, and that is GG. Well played. Insup win.